few weeks ago, I sent out a terrifying email. It was so scary to write and exposed such deeply held beliefs about myself that it literally left me nauseated for the remainder of the day. In a newsletter that went out to about 100 of my friends, fans, and acquaintances, I wrote, "I want to be paid for my work." So I could say that without cringing. I think that most people understand that exchanging work for money is what allows us to pay for things like food and shelter, not to mention the camera that's recording this video and the computer and software I use to edit it. So saying that much wasn't what made me want to vomit. It was what followed. I announced that I decided to transition my newsletter from a platform mostly intended for free marketing emails to Substack, which is a platform that allows newsletters to be products in themselves. That is, I wanted the ability to charge readers a subscription fee. So I wasn't just saying, I want to be paid for my work. I was saying, I want you to pay me for my work. If you don't already know me, I'm Jen Tatro, and I'm obsessed with exploring how we can thrive with happiness and creativity, even in the context of mental health struggles like PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And I have struggled with all of those. Talking about money in just about any context is a trigger for me because it ties into multiple traumatic experiences in my life. Asking for money is even worse. I want to tell you about what happens when I walk face first into a trigger like that, why I decided to do it anyway, and what comes next. Even now, having sent that email weeks ago and still being here to tell the story, I am freaking out a little that you're watching this and thinking, who does she think she is? I can't be the only one whose inner mean girl, I call her Nellie, by the way, says that really loudly and really often, right? Who do you think you are? It's interesting that that criticism only ever applies to me. Right now, the Hollywood writers' strike is big local news, and seeing those writers fighting for viable careers on the picket lines, I never find myself thinking, who do they think they are? Instead, I think, I want that for them. They deserve that. And Nellie, she chimes in with, well, if you were a real writer, you'd have colleagues in a union like they do. If you were a real creator, you'd have regular deposits coming in from big corporations. You wouldn't have to hold out your hand to readers and viewers. You'd be earning your living instead of just hoping for everyone's generosity. Nellie isn't being mean on purpose. She's doing her absolute best to keep me safe from disappointment and rejection. She thinks if she can stop me from wanting, then she'll spare me the pain of not getting. She remembers being a child, looking in on the stable middle-class lives of my friends and relatives, and feeling so ashamed of my own very different circumstances. And she wants to protect me from that feeling. So she reminds me constantly of these three things. First, no one deserves to be financially stable. Getting there is either a matter of luck or exploitation. 2, depending on other people is exploitation and makes you a bad person. And 3, luck is fickle and unstable and can turn at any moment. Nellie is a big believer in lose-lose situations. Every time I put myself out there in an attempt to create a career out of my work, or to turn it into something other than a hobby. To say, I am worthy of this. I have to lock Nellie in a box to do it. Unfortunately, she's an escape artist, so she inevitably gets out and throws a tantrum. Brene Brown calls those tantrums a vulnerability hangover. When Nellie is doing her thing, I get nauseated, I get headaches, I have anxiety attacks. I find myself absolutely exhausted every time I try to create new work. And I give in to sleep, and more sleep, and more sleep. It takes time, but eventually, like a toddler, Nellie wears herself out. And that's when I start contemplating the next cycle. I do that because the part of me that isn't Nellie, the part that's actually me, knows that the only lose-lose situation is avoiding connection and refusing to take chances and hiding from vulnerability. That scared, closed-in life is not the life I want. I want the one where I believe not only in my abilities, but in my inherent worth. I want the one where I offer myself opportunities, even if they're not guaranteed to work out. And where I trust in myself and in my audience to create a relationship that's neither a fluke nor an exploitation. And where I know that I can do what it takes to continue doing the work I love. I don't think that Nellie's going to go away, maybe ever, but with practice, I think maybe she'll be able to learn that there's more than danger out there. There's the joy of creating, the delight in connection, and the promise of growth in vulnerability. If you liked this video, you might also like one of the two that I'm going to link in the end credits. I have one about how it felt to reach the end of my second year on YouTube without getting monetized. And I have another one about how to get over the fear of being bad. Also, since you've made it all the way to the end, please take a moment to hit that thumbs up button, or if you're not subscribed already, to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, I am wishing you love and joy and all of those good things, because you deserve to be happy.